we're going to go through, and actually I'm going to have Natasha go through the process of her first 12 months of becoming a real estate broker. And so it's a business model that you guys are already all familiar with, but I think you maybe didn't know some of the ins and outs and the detailed numbers that we're going to show you. And this is stuff that really nobody else ever shows. So I think that you'll get a kick out of this, and I think it'll be some shocking information. Really, I think it'll be quite shocking for most of you. So without any further delay, let me switch up here and first let Natasha kind of introduce herself real quick, and then we'll do a screen share, and I'll let her go through some numbers.
Well, I'm not really sure what to say, but hello. This is the first time in my life, well, really, because John and I have been together as a team since I was 19, and so this is really the first time that I'm doing this business over here. And you'll find out in a little bit why when I became a real estate agent, I kind of thought I was taking one for the team, because the circumstances in our life at the time were such that we needed to generate income fast. And I went on this path, and John went on the other path, and but our whole history together, we've always done things together, marketing, and I do the accounting, and we talk about it, and we have time. And they've always been home businesses, to be honest. So it was, I guess, a little over a year ago, a friend of ours said, Natasha, I really like your personality and how you do business. We were flipping houses at the time. You should go get your real estate license and come work with me. We have so much business. Oh my gosh, you'd be fabulous at this. And I thought, wow, this would be a really awesome way for me to make money, really good money for my family. And that's what I mean, taking one for the team, because I knew becoming a real estate agent, and many of you have probably heard this, is that you spend a lot of time working in that business. And, client calls and they want to see property on a Saturday or a Sunday, and then there goes your weekend. And, you can set boundaries and you can curb that business, but this is the first year of business for me. So there was a lot to learn, even though I was not new to real estate. We had purchased and sold many houses and investment property and you name it. So I understood kind of, the flow of everything. I just needed to pull up to speed on the documents and things.
So you want me to flip over to screen share on that? I think, no, I think that's a good intro. And so what I'm going to have you do now is actually show them the numbers. And I put together this document so that you could see the numbers as she was kind of going through them, because trying to just vocalize them would be difficult, I think, to follow. So let me flip over to that.
Well, so as you're flipping over, I'll continue talking. One of the things that I had to do is it's a 150-hour course training, and I needed to complete that before I could get my license.
Hey, you guys see that on the screen, right?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. Just make sure.
So the course study material was for me $500, but it could range. If you were somebody that needed to take a class and be in more of a class setting, I did mine completely online for $500. But then there was an exam fee, I think $75, and then fingerprinting and then once I passed the test, there were a lot of people that didn't pass the test the first time. Then you have to pay the state of Oregon $230 to get your license. It took me 2 months to take, to study and take that, which is actually fast from what I understand. I think the average person takes anywhere from 4 to 6 months to do the studying, of course, depending on if they have a job or whatever. And then it took the state 3 weeks to issue the license. It was kind of grueling waiting for that. But once they issued the license, I immediately had to hang my license at a brokerage. And every brokerage has different fees. Well, I was already going to work for this one particular one, and so I had to pay Realtor Association dues. That's just part of it. And those dues are $640 approximately per year, depending on who you go with. Well, then I need to be able to have a key to open the doors, right? So I have a little gizmo that sticks into my phone for my RMLS, or the multiple listing service that's here in Oregon. And then I pay $180 a quarter for using that online system to look up properties and do what I need to do as an agent, but also to open doors to let my clients in. So the brokerage that I was at, now I had, you know, everything, like I said, has a little bit different setup, but, you know, there's a $21,000 desk fee. And what that means is not really a desk in the office. I mean, in fact, that means no desk in the office. What it means is that they get a portion of every sale that you make. A lot of times it's 20 or 30% of every sale until you meet that 21,000. And if you don't do that, if you don't meet that criteria or don't have that many transactions in a year, then you don't owe that. And then on top of that, Keller Williams KW is a very well-known real estate agency. So then they charge an additional 6% on each transaction. Now, the way that commissions, a lot of people ask me this, the way that commissions are figured is that, well, there's a listing side and there's a buyer side. And this last year I've been functioning as a buyer's agent for the most part. I don't really have a lot of properties that I list, but there's a lot of buyers in the marketplace. And so the buy side commission is 2.5% of the purchase price. But I don't get all of that, right? Because a portion of that goes to pay my desk fee. But also, if I was working with a group, a special group who was maybe giving me leads or helping me there, I actually might get maybe half of that or significantly less of that, which later we'll go into the, you know, the time money factor or the exchange for money and time is that, you know, I spend a lot of time working on a transaction and I get paid actually quite little for it. So then, and then on top of that, you have a $102 transaction fee to KW, and if I have their websites, another $30 a month, and I get business cards. And then, you know, to make life easier, I'm going to use DocuSign, which is electronic signatures, and that's like $15 a month. And then I've got my forms that get updated every year, and that's, you know, another $40 a month or a quarter, and then $100 each Realtor lockbox, if I was doing listings. So then we have continuing education. That's the last item there on the sheet. Unfortunately, the way that my birthday fell and the way when I got my license, I actually had to do my continuing education within the first year of having my license. So I got to pay, you know, the $230 all over again, and also including in that, I had to pay for course education for 30 hours. So I think that was about, well, you know, over $500, and another renewal fee I had to pay already this year. But normally that would renew every 2 years. So it's bad.
So real quick, I just want to interject in here. You know, you guys are probably already noticing the trend that there are a lot of monthly expenses with being a real estate agent. Now, I want to point out that that's not that uncommon to any business. You know, no matter what kind of business you're going to run, whether you're going to be an insurance agent, a mortgage broker, you know, it doesn't matter. Even if you have a product and you're going to sell it, or you're opening a storefront and you're, you know, selling used kids' clothes, you're going to have this same kind of list of monthly expenses. In business, we call this overhead. So you can't be afraid of that. You know, if you're going to be successful in any business, you got to understand that overhead is part of the deal. You're going to have services that you need. There's always going to be fees that you have to pay in order to transact business. It's just all part of it. So let's continue down here because we're still not done with all the costs.
So anyway, then I decided to do some advertising on my own so that I could generate my own personal clients and not have to share so much of my commission with someone who's providing me leads. And so my Zillow, you know, about $350 a month. And then, you know, as a buyer's agent, I spend a lot of time on the road. So, you know, we figured it's about $300 a month in gas, just depending on gas prices that I spend. And the time requirement is really intense. And I mean, I take my job very seriously, you know. And in our marketplace here in Portland, it's a little different than some of the other areas in the nation right now. Is that Portland is recovering, and we have a fairly low inventory of property and a lot of buyers. That means the buyers are competing for the properties, which means as an agent we have to move very quickly to obtain these properties for our clients. So last night, for example, Client says, oh, you didn't get my email? I really love that house. I call on it. It's still available. I know that if I wait a day or two, there'll be another offer in, and that client will miss that house. So I said to my family, all right, I'm leaving in an hour, 7 o'clock. I meet the client at a house, luckily not that far from here. We look at the house, you yak about it, right? That's an hour. I get home, and now I've got to write the contract. Well, that takes me a little bit, and I'm pretty particular, and I want to make sure I do a good job and I'm accurate. So I get the document out the door, DocuSign to the client. Now I'm, got to answer any questions that he might have about the document, get it back, and I get it all in. I got to email the mortgage broker because I need a new pre-approval letter for that, and then away out the door it goes.
Yeah, we really don't see much of her.
So that by the time I finished with that, I'm thinking it was about 9:30 last night, and that's a daily occurrence for me. And for all I know, a client could call today and say, Natasha, I changed my mind. Don't want that house.
Yeah, which does happen. In fact, you just recently had a couple of deals that you spent countless hours showing property, working on, putting the deal together, getting it accepted, going all the way through home inspection, only to have them completely fall apart and walk. So, I mean, that just happens. That's part of being a real estate agent. So, anyone listening to this, if you're working with an agent, you're buying a house, be really nice to your real estate agent. I'm serious. People have this thing in their minds when they don't understand what really goes on. They think, oh, they're making a pile of money because when they sell this house, they're getting this big chunk of giant commission. It doesn't work that way. You truly
don't know what their commission split is.
I mean, there's literally a whole bunch of people who get a piece of that commission. And depending on what the structure is and who's in charge and what company they're with, there's all kinds of ways that pie is split up. But that agent has worked their butt off. And when they get a commission on a deal, that has to make up for the 4 or 5 other deals that they put in all the work but didn't close. And so that was just wasted time. And you're going to see here, how that really works out. So let's just do a quick summary here, Tosh.
Okay, so my initial startup was like $2,300, and then I've got about $868 a month going out. Gas, my RMLS fees, and
all that overhead that you saw.
So you essentially took all of that and you divided it out monthly.
I took it all into a monthly.
Right.
So things that were like every 2 years she has to have a reoccurring license fee and association dues. I split that out into a monthly figure, figured out how much all of it was on a per month basis, and came up with this monthly overhead. And again, this only includes $350 a month of advertising, which, if you're a real estate agent and you're not doing any advertising, you're not going to get any business. So, only somebody who's been doing it for years and years and years and has built up a huge referral base starts to get business without paying for it. And even then, most of the time, they pay for advertising.
Right. Well, and one of the only ways that not only referral is an easy way you could get referral business doesn't cost you anything, but the other way is to hold open houses, and you can do that.
Right. Which then is a major time commitment.
Right. On the
weekends.
Those
are always on weekends.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So let's move down here to the other side of the coin, which is what I've been doing while she's been doing that.
Can I see that?
No, you're only seeing the screen.
Oh, okay.
So here's the deal. In October of last year, October 2012, I started working with Empower Network. And I started my business, and I treated it like a business right from the gate. Right at the beginning, because I've had experience building businesses. I understand that there's overhead with business, so I didn't have an issue with buying the products and going through and doing the training. So what I'm going to show you is what my actual numbers have been leading up to this point. Now, I'll tell you right now, I've only been doing this for 10 months. So I don't have actual data for a full 12 months, but I'm going to estimate the last 2 months based on where we're at now. And I think it's actually a conservative number, and I'll point that out when we get to that. So my total startup costs with Empower Network is $25 a month for the viral blogging system, $19.95 a month for the affiliate membership, which sets up my merchant account, gives me the ability to receive credit card payments and let people buy directly through my website and sign up as members of Empower Network as well. That also is what funds the company and allows them to do their software development, continue to develop phenomenal blogging platform, additional tools, trainings, and so forth. $100 a month is the Inner Circle. $500 one-time fee is the Costa Rica Intensive Training. $1,000 one-time cost for the 15K Formula online marketing training course. And then $3,500 was the Master's course. Again, all of these right here, the 100 per month, the 500 one time, 1,000 one time, and 3,500 one time. These are all training products because that's what we sell here at Empower Network, our internet marketing training products. And you'll notice that that's the bulk of the business is training. And that's a good thing because that's what it's all about. $19 a month is the Aweber email marketing system, which is a add-on system that we use for managing and building our list in Empower Network, which, you know, what we have with Empower Network is a full system for turnkey business, being able to start today with zero and build a business over a period of time to whatever income level you choose to do that to. So let's move down a little bit here. Here's the big kicker. Here's a huge difference from what you just saw with the real estate business. Time requirement, 2 to 3 hours a day. Okay, I actually, for my first at least 8 to 9 months in this business, worked less than 2 hours a day. And that was because when Natasha was first starting with real estate and doing some of that, we still had a house that we were in the process of renovating and flipping, and that was my full-time job, was managing that, dealing with contractors, ironing out messes with permits and all that kind of stuff, and it was incredibly frustrating for me to have to be over there on site managing contractors when I could be home, you know, doing stuff that actually was going to get me somewhere moving forward. But I managed to squeeze in that 2 hours a day. So let's move down a little bit here and look at the summary. So just to summarize, initial startup cost for my Empower Network business was $5,163. So again, that's buying all the products, getting everything. Now, you don't have to do that to start an Empower Network business. So I want to let you know you can actually start an Empower Network business, get in, get started, start your training for as little as just the $25, the $19 a month, and the $19 a month Aweber. So, you know, less than $100 a month, you can start. But it's a little bit like, you know, doing an operation without going to medical school. If you can get that analogy, because this is all the information that you need to study and learn how to do the business and really be able to take it to that next level. If you just get in at the $25 level and expect that you're going to make a pile of money, you know, it just doesn't happen. It's not going to happen with anything. That's not taking it seriously. That's not building it like a business. So I always recommend get all in, get all the products, get all the training. And then on top of that, these are all reseller programs. So owning the product here, you know, gives you automatic qualification to be able to earn 100% commissions when you enroll someone who also then decides that they want to get this training and get started with their business. So that's where we get the income side of Empower Network, is we sell training products. We help people to become better marketers online. So let's move down here back to this. So again, this was getting all in. So again, remember, you could do this for actually less than $100, get started, and then work your way up to the additional products. That's another alternative method, and we have lots of people who do that as well. The total ongoing monthly expense is $165 a month. Again, that's owning everything, and $100 of that right there is that Inner Circle training product. That's a reoccurring monthly.
You know, I have to interrupt right now because I want to say something. You know, with the all-in price here, you know, without the training, in my business, if I didn't buy certain things, I would be missing such a huge portion of what I need to know to do my business. I mean, I can't function if I don't have my $180 a quarter RMLS thing.
Right.
Or, you know, if I was, you know, I mean, just some of those fees they're mandatory. I can't function without them. I can't be in business. And then if I decided not to do any Zillow advertising, then where would I, you know, I'd be.
Well, let me ask you this, Natasha. When you got started, and let me flip back to this real quick to the real estate broker costs. When you got started, did you have $2,275 just laying around?
No, we were pretty strapped at the time.
Yes. So where did that come from?
Credit card.
Credit cards,
yeah.
Exactly. Okay. And this?
Well, I forget how we figured it out. We must have figured it out really, but I worked my butt off. I hit the ground running is what I said.
But my point is 99.9% of every business in America and probably across the world is started with credit. So, you know, if you have credit cards and you're starting a business and you're going to take it seriously, put it on a credit card. That's how people start businesses. That's not something new. That's not putting yourself out there and taking a risk. It's only a risk if you don't actually work your business.
Yes, well, and I was determined, so I was working really hard. And also to note that I started in June of last year, and I worked really hard June and July to you know, build leads and build rapport and work with clients. I didn't close my first deal until mid-August. It was 2.5 months later.
2.5 months she was working before she got her first deal. Okay, so that's good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I think you guys get the point. So let's move forward here and actually compare some income numbers. So we're going to break this down into a real-world example. This is Natasha's actual numbers from her first 12 months as being a real estate broker. And actually, these numbers are actually better than they really were, because what we didn't take into account here was that she spent 3 months.
2 months.
3.
No, you're right.
Almost 3 months.
Yeah.
Before we actually started this 12-month period, she spent that first 2.5 to 3 months studying to get her license. So we didn't actually start this 12 months until she was a licensed real estate broker.
Right.
So, you know, you could almost factor another extra 2 months of income out of this to get the more accurate numbers, which are still fine. You know, again, it's a business. This is how it goes when you build a business.
Wow.
So let's look at this. $22.75, again, this is initial startup cost, and then there's the monthly overhead. Now, if you take that monthly overhead for being a real estate agent, you multiply it by 12 months, you get $10,416 a year in overhead costs.
Then that doesn't include the desk fee.
And no, the desk fee comes out of the money. That's already subtracted from
right.
here.
I wanted to make a note of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So first 12 months in Natasha's real estate business, she had $40,000 gross income. So that's gross. That means that's what the real estate brokerage paid her in the form of a check. So what had to come out of that was the actual initial startup cost that was out of her pocket and the overhead. So I took that $868 times 11 months because the first month was already paid for in the startup. So monthly overhead didn't actually reoccur until the next month. So that's 11 months. So you've got overhead of $9,500, $2,200 startup. So her net income, or a term you might be familiar with, net take-home pay, would be $28,177 for the first 12 months as a real estate broker. Now, that's not bad. That's actually really good when you look at the average a real estate broker in America makes. The average real estate broker, by the way, closes 2 to 4 deals per year. So
I think this, I forgot to add this up, but I think that was like 15 deals.
Yeah, it was around 15 deals. Yeah, I think that's right.
It was,
but because of the arrangement
right.
that she had, because they were giving her leads and all of this, and it was with you know, the large brokerage that had a large desk fee. So again, you know, these numbers could vary depending on where a real estate agent is registered, what state they're in, what company they're with, and all of that. But this is going to give you a real good picture of what she was looking at with that.
So it's poverty.
So, you know, we're looking at $2,300 a month net income, working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and actually it was probably more like 7, at least 6.5, because you didn't have...
Well, I try not to show property on Sundays to have a day off, but I often will answer my phone.
Yeah. So, I mean, she ends up spending 2-3 hours on the phone in front of her computer dealing with clients, even on Sunday. So what that breaks down to is $7.52 an hour. That's not even minimum wage. Okay. Now that's not such an important figure we're looking at there because, again, this is a business and this is the first 12 months. So with a lot of businesses, this could be 0, and that doesn't mean it's a bad business.
Well, and yes, and you know, I have well, on the books right now, I have like $12,000 of commissions closing for August.
Right.
So it's, you know, it ramps up.
The second year will be dramatically different, but what's not different is the hours that she's working.
Hours and ramp.
And that's the deal with real estate is, you know, especially if you're a buyer's agent, you better get used to 12-hour days. It's just the bottom line. So again, first year, that's the way the numbers worked out. So now let's compare that to my home internet business with Empower Network. Initial startup cost, again, $51.63 from buying everything. Ongoing monthly, which comes out to about $1,900 per year of overhead. First 12 months. Now, again, this is where I mentioned earlier, I'm actually over $40,000 at the 10-month mark.
Okay, now you should do the disclaimer.
Okay, yes. Because we're talking about money, these are my results. Your results may vary, and there are no guarantees of income. There's actually, right underneath this Hangout video, there's a link where you can click and view our income disclaimer. Bottom line, guys, if you don't put in the work, you don't get any money. It's just the way it goes, and that's how it is with any business. It's actually a shame that there has to even be such thing as an income disclaimer.
Yeah. David would thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but you know, here's the thing with Empower is that we're totally upfront with our numbers, and you know, especially me, you know, those that have been following me, and anyone that works in our group, we're super honest and forthcoming about everything, and that's really the culture of Empower Network as well. Empower Network is the only company that provides an income disclaimer that's actually tabulated, where you can view active people versus inactive versus those that have received commissions in the last month. You know, all broken down by amount of income and estimated hours they're working per month or per week. You know, it's very complete. You've never seen anything like it. So, you know, again, if you have a question about average income for Empower, you can view that directly below this video. There's a link. And of course, at the bottom of every page of Empower Network sites, you can view it there as well. So enough about that. So over 40,000 in 10 months. I'm now at that point where I'm consistently hitting around the 10K mark. And of course, you know, not understanding how Empower works, you might not realize this, but it's one of those businesses where you start doing things, and if you do them right and you follow the directions, when you start getting results, your income tends to continue to increase. You know, and again, I'm not guaranteeing that, but that's kind of how it works with this. You don't work harder. You just keep doing the same thing you're doing. So I'm still putting in 2 to 3 hours a day, but my income keeps increasing because my group is getting larger. More and more people are starting to see this. EmpowerNetwork.com is now like the #1 topic on the internet according to Alexa. So I mean, that's a huge deal. Obviously, we're doing something right, or we wouldn't get that kind of play. So I'm estimating that my income will stay status quo for the next 2 months, which would put me at $60,000 gross income for the first 12 months. I would not be surprised if it was over $75,000 or $80,000 by the end of 12 months, but we're going to go with 60 for the sake of this. So we subtract the initial startup cost, we subtract the monthly overhead times 11 months, and we're at $53,000 net income for the first 12 months. So if we split that up and put that on a monthly basis, that's $4,418 a month net income working 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, comes out to $110 an hour from the beginning. Okay, so now I think it's important to note here that that doesn't mean that my first month I made $4,418. In fact, that's quite not the case. My first 5 months, or I should say it took me 5 months to go in the black. And for those that don't know what that means, it's an accounting term. What that means is I was not in profit until month 5. And that is because I made the investment of buying all the training products, getting everything set up, and being positioned to earn the big dollars in this business. And I did what it took to take the actions, even though it was 2 hours a day, to get to where I wanted to be. But it takes time, again, to build a business. You have to put in the effort. And for those first few months in almost any business, you're going to be putting in a lot of effort and not seeing a lot of return. That doesn't mean it's not working. And for some reason, people think when they're dealing with an internet business that they should be getting like an immediate result for every action they take. And it doesn't work that way. That doesn't mean you're not going to get paid for that time. In fact, if you start to look back at it, this is how it works out. I've been paid $110 an hour for every hour I put into this business from the beginning. And that's huge. So I hope you guys understand that. I hope that makes sense and you get that, the impact of that.
So what you're saying really is that if somebody realized that looking back at their first year that they would be making $110 an hour, they actually might have taken their first 4 months pretty seriously if they had the mindset that they were working at $110 an hour.
That is exactly right. That is exactly right. And that is the point I'm trying to get across here is, how important mindset is. I'm going to go back to video here. All right, cool. That's the huge picture is mindset is everything. And it comes back to that thing, and I've heard this analogy used before. If I told you that if you can go and figure out a way to raise $10,000 this month, Tosh, I'm going to give you a brand new Ferrari worth $300,000. Mm-hmm. Would you figure out a way to do it?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Any of you guys, would you figure out a way to do that?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sure.
So if I told you that, I've got a business, and in a year from now, you'll look back and realize that you've made at least $100 an hour for every hour you worked on it, even though you weren't going to make a dime for, say, 6 months, would you work your butt off?
For sure.
Most definitely.
And and I see people, not just with Empower Network, but with things across the internet, all kinds of businesses. Network marketing industry is notorious for this, where they quit after a few months of putting in a ton of hard work. They quit, and they were just right on the cusp of turning things around, right on the cusp of starting to get results. And it's terrible. It's heartbreaking to see that happen. So that's the message that I want to get across here is that, you get into something like this, first off, you take it seriously right out of the gate. Treat it like a business. Understand that you're in business. This is not a deal. This is not some scheme on the internet. This is not something you're going to dip your toe in and try it out for $25. No, it's and on that same note, a lot of times people say, well, I only have $25. I can only get in at the $25 level. But then if you told that same person, well, what if I told you that you were guaranteed to make $50,000 your first year if you got all in right now? Would you get all in? Oh, of course. Well, that tells me right there it's not a money problem. It's a mindset problem. Now, just to be clear, I'm not guaranteeing anybody's income, okay? But it's a mindset thing. So the bottom line is you have to take it serious. You have to just do it. You got to take, in some cases, a leap of faith. And that's why we have the systems we have with Empower set in place, is that we help you with that. We've got a whole team of people that will work with you and support you and help you to change your mindset, to help you understand that it's not only possible, but it's possible for you. And that's the key factor. There isn't a single person watching this that can't do this business, that can't replicate my results, that can't do better than my results. So that's the key takeaway.
Hey, John, let me ask you a question real quick, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Because I think it's a good time and it's important to add. You had your average income there and what it is right now, but how many people are you bringing in on average a day right now? And then that'll lead to the next question. You probably already know what the next question is.
Yep, absolutely. Right now, I'm bringing in an average of, well, it's been up until about the beginning of summer. It's been very consistent, 1 to 2 people a day that are doing this business. Now, those are not people I'm calling. Those are not leads I'm calling and trying to sell over the phone. These are people that, because of the system with Empower Network and what I've been taught in the training products, are finding me online and joining my business. Then I contact them. Then I help them get started. Now, in the summertime, it tends to slow down. People take vacations and that kind of stuff. So this month is a little bit lower than that, but my income is not. My income is not affected by the number of enrollments.
Yeah, and so just to reiterate what you're saying, I found you online, and I was watching your videos, and obviously I didn't know you. I'm from North Carolina. You're from Portland, and that's how I got in with you. So what does it mean? This is my follow-on question that'll help everybody out. What does it mean when you're averaging 2 people a day consistently? What does that mean?
The company-wide statistics with Empower Network, when someone is consistently for a 90-day period enrolling 2 people a day, are at least a $30,000 a month income. At least.
So that's why I wanted to bring that out, because if you look at your math and you're holding it at 10,000, but you're averaging up there, you're knocking on the door and that's, you know, it does take time, obviously, but you have a system in place, and the system in place for Empower Network, you're teaching all of us, and this is a great team, and we're all working together, which is huge, and that's how it's going to become a success. Absolutely. And it will for all of us by following the system.
Yep, absolutely.
For sure. So, yeah.
Does that mean I get to retire?
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. I think my family would rather have me home.
I would love to have my wife back. I mean, I can't even project what it's been like. I mean, she didn't do it justice explaining, you know, what the lifestyle or lack thereof has been like with her being in real estate. I mean, you know, my son and I just don't get to see her that often. She's either off showing property. I mean, today alone, she's been here and gone like 3 different times, and that's not uncommon, where she'll come and she's here 10 minutes, grabs something to eat really fast, goes to her computer, prints off some documents, and back in the car and gone again. And it's just constant like that all the time. She actually stayed up last night till, what, 4 o'clock in the morning?
It was 4, yeah.
Doing the bills and stuff that she normally would be able to do during the day, but because she's so busy, she had to stay up till 4 in the morning to get that caught up.
Yeah.
You know, and it's been miserable with that lifestyle. And I'm not saying that the real estate business is a bad business at all. I'm just saying that
it's such a different lifestyle.
It's a completely different lifestyle.
Because we've always worked from home. We've always worked together. And we've always had some little time freedom in there, right. You know, where we would go on a walk, or we'd have lunch, or we'd take a couple hours. I mean, I'd have my weekends. Our business is always shut down on the weekends, you know, because they were traditional businesses, and so to be on call around the clock.
Yeah, well, we go places. Even when we go out to dinner with my parents or with her family, she's constantly having to excuse herself. I mean, she's on the phone talking to a client. She has to take those calls, because if you don't take it, you lose the money. You lose the deal. I mean, everything is time critical in real estate, whereas in blogging, internet marketing, hey, there's no emergencies.
Yeah.
And I don't do anything part way. You know, I like John, am, you know, very motivated to make this a success. So, you know, I have I don't know what, 7 deals under contract right now as a buyer's agent. That's a pretty good amount of juggling to happen. You know, you got to schedule home inspections and sewer scopes, and you know, and all this sort of thing, and you're, you know, oh no, sorry, we don't want that deal, you know, or whatever, and then you got to back it out and terminate it, and all that time and effort just goes down the drain. And you know, client bought a car. When you're going to buy a house, don't buy a car, or ask your agent or your mortgage broker if you can buy a car. And I think one of my clients just killed their deal today, because I found out they bought a car last month, and now their expenses are too high.
It's just a lot of factors outside your control, you know, and that's that way in a lot of different businesses. But
it's commissioned. Yeah. Yes, you don't know. But the neat thing about this is that, you know, it's a system that's laid out. People are enrolling, whereas in order for me to get paid, I have to do it. I have to say the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah. She doesn't have leverage. That's the key missing factor.
And there are, and not to be mistaken, there are other real estate models out there that have leverage and a little bit different things. So I'm going to be moving towards using a transaction coordinator and trying to you know, get some more time back, but that means dollars, right?
Well, you go more towards the traditional business of having employees, essentially.
Right.
You've got, you know, employees doing some of the work, but then it dips into your profit line to get some of your time back is the idea, but it's tough even with that.
Well, yeah, because you don't want to have to let somebody go.
And what, you know, my gut feeling is that, you know, when in the next, you know, 3, 4, 5 months, as my income continues to you know, go through the roof.
Yeah, then I will be at a
She's going to get at that point where it's like, okay, well, do I really want to do this? Which is fantastic. I mean, who doesn't want their wife to be in that position, right?
Hey, can I give you another side of the coin and this is kind of jumping on what I'm doing, but I think it's important. Yeah, because you know, many people know I'm an air care pilot, and I'll give you just my example. I did pretty well last year as an air care pilot, but I can tell you, for example, last month in September, I worked 28 out of the 30 days of September.
I mean,
That's
July.
14-hour days, and that was going between my base here in North Carolina, and then as soon as I would get off work I'd work Monday nights, get off work Monday morning, drive straight to the airport, get on an airplane, go to Cherokee, Iowa, work straight and get back the next Monday night and be back on shift on Tuesday morning. And I did that every week for 4 weeks. Well, I'm on a stretch right now, and part of the reason why I'm on a stretch too is to, get the money to do what I need to do to help build this. But the last 2 months, I went from working in my base here 1 week, straight out to Tulsa, Oklahoma, straight back to my base, back to Seminole, Oklahoma, back to my base where they were doing some training. So I worked every day for 2 weeks at my base, and then I went back to Seminole, Oklahoma, and now I just went to West Virginia today. I leave Saturday for 7 days to go to Dallas, Texas to train on another aircraft. I come back, and then I'm going to Warrenton, Missouri the next week, and then I'm coming back from that and going back to Seminole, Oklahoma. And hopefully by that time I can be done, but that's having 4 days off in 2 months. Now, the kicker thing for me, I have a 16-year-old son, I have a 13-year-old daughter, and I have a 9-year-old daughter. I've missed about 3 soccer. Well, last year I missed 42 of my son's soccer game, about 32 of my daughters. My younger daughter's a belt taekwondo. I missed 4 belt tests, and I missed 5 dance recitals. And then coming up just this next week, my son's high school soccer season starts, and I will miss. He's playing a tournament this Saturday, and he's playing a tournament all next week. I'll miss 8 games in 1 week, and he's a junior in high school, so I'm getting ready to miss all of that. So with John, if I follow and I feel this, I do what John's saying. I love air care. I don't ever want to stop flying air care because I feel like I'm doing some good. But wouldn't it be wonderful to work 7 days and be off 7 days at home with my family watching soccer games, and then work my 7 days? And that's the goal. And instead of working 24/7 and going all over the country to fly just so I can do what I need to do. So it is huge sacrifices, and that's why I believe, and I'm seeing it, and I'm seeing the results, and I'm seeing what John's doing. And my family, just like y'all want Natasha back, my family wants me back. So it's all with effort you put into it. I really believe that. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing the story.
So
Can I jump in here and just be like, that's exactly why we're doing this. You have your why, and Matt, he needs that freedom to spend with his family. I mean, that sucks to be to be away from your family that much, to be missing that much of their games. I know how much you want to be there for them, and and what Tasha's showing. I mean, the overall point that we're making is that when you take serious a business like Empower Network, like the time freedom that you get and the type of money that you can make in your free time, basically, or the amount of time, 1 to 2 hours a day, you can make a lot more money than what Natasha is making with her real estate business. And people don't take seriously these businesses and what it takes to get started. And if you want to be successful, you have to treat it like a real business. And if you want that time freedom like John is having, if you want to be able to retire your wife, which is his why, if you want to be able to go to your kid's game, which is Matt's why, if you want to be able to travel the world, and which is part of my why, and give my daughter everything that she wants, which is part of my why, you have to take serious and commit and be consistent with this business, because it's real. And if you can see the difference, as John showed out very clearly, it's not very hard to see. You can see the benefits of devoting a few hours a day to building your home business and you might not be able to quit your other job right away, but if you can devote an hour or two every day to your home business and take it seriously, then you can eventually quit that job and have the time freedom and the money that you want to live your dream life.
That's right, and absolutely. But that was one of the most important things that I appreciated about John when I first joined this team. Is he did a blog early on or a couple months ago, and he said, "Hey Matt, I want you to go read this blog, this specific blog, because I don't want you to have a misinterpretation that next week it's all going to start hitting the bank, and I want you to know that if you work with me and you work hard, that we'll get there." And that was the best thing that John ever did for me, because he laid it out straight. He was straight honest, and he said, work hard, stick with me, and we'll get there, because I'm getting there. And so I think this team, and there's other team members that couldn't be here tonight, but this team is just doing that, supporting each other to make it happen for everybody. We all want it to happen for everybody, not just everybody, which is great.
The group doesn't see me very often because obviously.
Well, we know why now.
My schedule. But back when we got started, we made a decision to go to the events together. So you will always see me at the events with John. And that was a huge piece for us to go and see what kind of income potential there was with this company. And for me to go and support him, initially I said, well, we don't want to spend the money. Maybe you should just go. And then he just, no, I just want you to go with me. And it was important because I could experience it at the same time as him, and we can make decisions together about our life. And after that first event in Austin, it was, okay, I now see how much potential there was with this business, and I am okay as a family unit with him spending the money that he was spending. So when he came to me and said, no, I need to buy the Masters, and I was going, oh man, well, let's see where we can come up with that. Not no, because we just came back from Austin, and I know that we would be kicking ourselves if we missed out on a $3,000 commission. So, by going to the event, even though I may not be around, I go to all the events, and I support our team, and I support my husband in this business until I can be here more full-time, for whatever part-time that actually is.
Full-time, part-time.
Yeah, because we back in the day, if we want to go back farther, we know what time freedom is. I mean, John used to work a few hours in software, and we would have so much time, and we had so much money, and we were so spoiled, and I know what that feels like. And to not have that anymore is, at the moment, is very frustrating. And that's why we kept looking for a vehicle, kept searching it out, so that, to find something that would generate the money and also give us the time freedom that we're looking for.
And there's so much stuff out there on the internet. There's so much just chaff, as I'll call it. So many different offers and ridiculous claims and things that it's often, for somebody who's looking for something for the first time, they get inundated with just so much garbage, and they're not really sure what to look at and what works and what doesn't. So, if you're looking at this for the first time and you're thinking, gosh, is this just some thing, or is this something that's real? Hopefully watching this and participating in some of these hangouts that we do, you understand that we're speaking heart. This is there's no inflated numbers here. We show you actual numbers, actual proof. Everything is completely straightforward, and it is exactly what we say it is.
I assure you, I'd love to.
I think you guys, your volume just went out, John.
Yeah, we lost the volume. Hey, there's the sun.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I got involved with Empower Network immediately, was because how straightforward the work ethic and the income disclosure, and the idea that you have to invest in yourself and treat this as a real business. And the fact that if you learn the training and you take seriously the training, you can stop, searching and researching and going through trial and error to do it all by yourself, which can take a long time. And I joined Empower because I could see that it was a legit business, but it required me to actually take it seriously and learn some things. And by applying some simple techniques and shifting my mindset, that's something I love about this. Is half the business is personal development, and it's like the foundation that once you see the possibility, as we just laid out for you guys, and you believe in yourself, that if I commit a few hours a day every day and I invest in training my mind and learning marketing techniques, and I learn how to blog and I do it effectively, that I can achieve the same type of success as anybody else that's succeeding in this, because they're not any different than me or you. And just everything was so upfront, so transparent. And when I finally got to meet the co-founders, David Wood and David Sharp, and all the other leaders, and John in person, when we all met these people in person, it's like these people they have the heart for helping people and empowering people. I like what Tony Rush said, this is not the entitlement network or the enablement network, this is the Empower network. And we're empowering you to take 100% responsibility, 100% accountability to make this business your own and to succeed and to be the best version of yourself, and to share that message that you were meant to share with the world through this vehicle, and make a living doing it and help others do the same. And by helping a lot of people, you see that you'll get what you want. I think there's a great quote by Zig Ziglar: if you help a lot of people get what they want, you'll get what you want. And so we're not enabling anybody, we're empowering people. So this movement is awesome. You guys should click the join button right now and get involved with our team. We're called the Breakthrough Mastermind, and we help people have breakthroughs in their life, in their business. Personal breakthroughs, financial breakthroughs. And you have a community that supports you and believes in you and is here to help you and empower you to succeed. What do you have to say, Naz?
Hey, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm a little bit late today, but they have 24 hours and have to do so much stuff, so keep it up. Yeah, good to see Natasha here. I'd like to see more. Well, I know how the John said in a couple months you're gonna see you here every Thursday, right? That's gonna happen. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I can say, there's more than 150,000 people are joining the Empower Network, and you can see here the real person who's getting the results. So if you're not believing that, just stuck with that and get working, and you will see the results gonna come. If you're gonna talk here about the money, go and check it out, the income disclosure, but it happens. Just work, keeping this in action, consistent work every day, and that's gonna happen. There is no way to do for that.
Yeah, it's wonderful, man. This is a great team, a great group of people. That's what makes it fun. I look forward to our calls every time we get on them, just because the group of people, it's great. It's wonderful, So that's awesome, too. So, yeah, click join. Get on with us, because you'd be joining a great team that'll help you get to where you need to be. Like Sakshi said, John is a great leader, and we learn the blogs, and there was some, messages going back later today that was pretty cool, because the the blogs that are coming out of this group are high quality blogs. I mean, the blogging quality and how people are learning from each other are awesome. So, you know, by being a part of this group and joining this group, it's going to take you to a different level. And the information that's out there amongst this group, it's second. And I've learned more about the internet marketing than I ever dreamed I could have ever learned. So I agree.
All right, you guys. So John and Natasha, their mic is out, and we're about to close this call because we respect your time, and we said it would be an hour. And you know, just get involved. Click the join button, and join our team, and take your business to the next level. Whatever business you have, you can do it and market it with Empower Network, or you can just get involved and sell the Empower Network products, which is the #1 best training out there online. And like Matt said, you know, we're a movement, and we're a team, a family, and you know, we're here to help you and empower you to succeed in life, succeed in your business. And it's been a pleasure. We'll be back next Thursday for the next hangout, and we got some exciting things to show you. We're going to tell you how to market on Facebook. Everybody's on Facebook these days, so there's the traffic to promote your business and get people involved and to spread this opportunity is right there on Facebook, just waiting for you to dive into. So we're going to be talking about how to market Empower Network on Facebook and attract people to this wonderful movement. So we'll see you next week. Click the join button, and thank you so much. We're signing out. Blessed love.
Thanks, guys.